afford to pay the bills of society pay the bills. Well, they don't. Okay. I mean, I don't know how far back lawyers go, but I mean, Jesus had a big problem with the lawyers of his day. These were the people that claimed to know the law better than anybody else. They were very pompous and arrogant. They were elitists. They were hypocrites often. And these were ones that hated him because they wanted to be the authority, the sole authorities, okay, making the laws and everything, right? And hold it over the masses. And Jesus was saying, no, God is the authority, the only authority, the sovereign. And that we should gravitate toward loftier, higher laws and not pay so much attention to these strict laws made by men that are often very dubious, arbitrary, and capricious. You understand how this works? So there's this constant battle through the ages of the workers versus the elitists. And we're at a point now where these elitists have got it down to a science on how to cheat the public, how to do it right under their noses. And I'm here as one sole voice trying to enlighten people, trying to empower people to not take the bait. Although we've all taken it to some degree, we all have to comply and conform to some degree. We all have to use their money. This is it. This is their ambrosia. This is what it's all about. This is how we define success. And it's all about money. And social Darwinism, of course, it's just going to get harder and harder. It's competition. What's wrong with you? Buck up. Conform, comply. Just find some way to crack that ever harder nut. Find some way to reach that ever higher bar. It's your problem. It's your weakness. It's your deficiency as an individual. Okay, and they want to divide us. Do you understand? They want us to get us at each other's throats. So this is social Darwinism on perverted, adulterated steroids. Okay, and it's cutthroat Darwinism is what it is. Survival of the meanest. And they want us to believe that the problem is that those stupid Democrats, those stupid Republicans, they want us to believe it's those stupid liberals. They want us to believe it's those stupid conservatives. They want us to believe it's those stupid socialists. They want us to believe it's those stupid capitalists, right? And it's on a local grassroots, and this is the only place. This is where you got to fight the fight, is on a local community level. That's the only place you're going to see any changes. When it's bull, they just want you sidetracked. They want your attention diverted. Okay, they want to convolute the issues, confuse the issues, keep you discombobulated, off balance, okay, disempowered. They want you in Babylon. They don't want you to get the causal effects. They don't want you to see the genesis, the beginning. They don't want you to see who's really causing the problems at the very top of this pyramid of perverted power. Okay, who are these grand puppeteers? Who are these kingpins? Specifically, let's be specific. Who are they? Who are these masterminds of evil that are doing this to us? Okay, because it should be plenty enough that we got to contend with all the organic suffering like all the other creatures out there and find ways to overcome it like we have, where we can stamp out highly suitable, comfortable shelters like pancakes today in the 21st century. And there's absolutely no excuse for anyone on the planet to be homeless anywhere except for evil men trying to keep the price of housing high. This is it. That's why affordable housing is such an anathema to these people. They're evil. I'm telling you, they need people to die out in the cold to extract the exorbitant rents and mortgages. Do you understand how dramatically cheaper it'd be for society to solve their problems? Do you understand the problems that are initiated, that are induced by desperate poverty, by financial desperation, destitution? Do you understand the crimes that are committed out there? Do you understand the cost we, the taxpayers, pay to keep these people incarcerated in jail? Okay, I heard from a guy $100,000 a year. I think that's hyperbolic, but it's certainly over $50,000 a year from the people I trust and listen to. Okay, in California, over 50,000 a year per inmate. Okay, how much would it cost us to keep them out of trouble? And people, they mock this universal basic income. And I say, you're evil. It's your fault. All the crimes out there. They've even done a study up here in Shasta County, up in Redding. They attribute the rapes. Do you understand? It's your fault. It's your fault. These women are being raped. If you're opposed to universal basic income, it's your fault the next time some convenience store clerk is shot in the head for not coughing up a few bucks fast enough. It's your fault. Do you understand? I'm done with it. You're opposed to Martin Luther King Jr. It's your fault that these women have abortions that think they can't afford to raise their child. It's your fault there's commuter traffic on the LA freeways, the Bay Area freeways. It's your fault. Do you understand? At this point in history, it's absurd that anybody on the face of the earth is going in want. Do you understand? You're evil. Whether you know it or not, you have conformed to Satan's plan to destroy humanity. He hates humanity. He hates God by extension because we are God's greatest creation, made in his very image and likeness. We are the greatest treasure on the face of this earth. All the worldly treasure, God in his sight is detestable. And what exemplifies that treasure? What will buy you all the worldly treasure in the world? One thing, money. The epitome, the exemplification, Satan's ambrosia. Do you understand what a departure, the reality that's coming, the world of tomorrow? That God is going to force his way upon this planet. All these true believers out there praying the Lord's Prayer, may God's will be done on earth as it is in heaven. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Mark my words. God's will is going to be implemented on earth. Get ready. The last few sands are running out of the hourglass, okay? The time for the evildoers is almost up. Okay, and what these mass shootings, that's what that signifies to Satan's on a rampage. He's going completely ballistic and crazy. These are demonically possessed people. How could you explain it any other way? When I feel intense compunction, when I hurt somebody's feelings, when I'm mean, when I didn't pray to God for the Holy Spirit to give me the right words to talk to some person. I just did this the other day. Okay, I had an incident where I was landscaping at the end of, I was leaving my shift there, and right next door neighbor, he's out there spraying, and I go and ask him, what are you spraying? I mean, is he just spraying horticultural oil, some natural organic product? I wanted to find out because he was spraying on the ground. And what is it, ant? Who was this guy? Pest control? I don't know. But the guy's spraying Roundup. And what we know, it's the news is plastered with lawsuits going on. The science is showing with incontrovertibly that this is the key to understanding this non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And now they're saying other forms of cancer. The EPA is not lifting a finger. California taunts itself as we're on the cutting edge of we're the green wave, right? And yet they're nothing. They're not banning it. With all the information, scientific information that's coming out about this stuff. There was a breeze blowing. I've seen damage to the plants in the yard I take care of. I'm out there weeding by hand. I got to touch that poison, okay? And he's spraying it right. In fact, I got a photograph because the next day I was working across the street, and I photographed what I'm talking about. We're not just talking about spraying cracks. I wouldn't have said nothing if he was spraying cracks in the sidewalk or in a driveway. That's the only place I can see this acceptable. And even then, on a day that's not windy. Okay, but there was a breeze blowing. And you're never supposed to do it when there's a breeze blowing. Okay, because you get what's called drift, and it gets on other plants. And some plants are extremely sensitive. And these people next door that I work for have plants in particular called the agapanthus, commonly known as lily of the Nile. They get these long stems and these blue flowers on them, but and sometimes white. But yeah, I mean, they won't recover. It'll take them years to recover if it doesn't kill them. Even just a little bit of spray on them, and it's very unsightly. I mean, it looks like an unhealthy plant. And if you know what an unhealthy dying plant looks like, that's what happens when you get this Roundup drip. So anyhow, I can't see this guy. He's a fellow landscaper, and I got to go off on this guy, and I'm just, like F this and S that, and now I got to apologize to the guy. I shouldn't have spoken like that. But you see, I feel profound compunction just hurting somebody's feeling. I can't imagine what people are thinking when they're out there hurting people. I don't understand it. And man, I'm disgusted. I'm ashamed to be of the same gender as you. When I hear the crimes you're committing, hurting women, how can you do that? You're sick, man. These have to be atheists, because any believer, they have reverence, they have fear. Okay, they know that it's a terrible thing to fall into the hands of an angry God. What's going to happen to these people? What are they thinking? What the hell's wrong with you, men? Keep your hands off the women, damn it! You sick, perverted freaks. Children, leave the damn children alone. My God, help us. Okay, you see, one side here is rocky, and that's where I had just pulled weeds by hand. And the other side, that's green, is actually just weeds. It's a lot of different weeds in there. It's hard to see. Okay, but if you look a little further, you see that the guy has cleaned up the other area with Roundup or whatever he's used. I guess his string trimmer. But you see, the weeds were hanging over, and I had just spent a lot of time and effort in that area. And I made it very neat. There's a very straight line. You can see the boundary, but he was letting the weeds grow right on the border, so it looked like it was my problem. So when I had gone through there, and I did a very nice, tidy, neat job, spent a lot of time, a lot of energy out there, getting nice and clean, okay? And he's out there right on the border, right when I'm leaving, and he's out there spraying. So I confronted the guy. I accosted him, and I said, "What are you spraying out there?" I rode over. I was still on my riding lawnmower, and I just kind of used it as a cart to ride over there because he looked like he was ready to dart away real quick. And I asked him what he was spraying, and that's when I went off on the guy, and I'm not proud of it. And I was upset. I was hot behind the collar, and I really just should have prayed, say, "God, please give me the right words, because this guy just triggered me." Okay. And like I said, I mean, you get a little bit of that on a plant you're not intending to get it on, and it can damage it, make it look unhealthy for years to come, if not kill it. And it's toxic. I'm out there barehanded because that's where I get the best feel. I put a glove on my left hand when I'm weeding. Okay, I've got knee pads on. And I use various digging tools, one of which I actually invented. But listen, I don't need non-Hodgkin's lymphoma or some other cancer. We don't have a Roundup police out there, okay, to regulate this. There's no rules out there. Nobody's seeing that these guys aren't spraying on windy days. And here's another kicker. That you know who's paying for this? When the professionals like a landscaper use it, you know what he's going to do when he files his taxes? Guess what? 100% write-off. You, the taxpayers, then end up paying for it because this guy's not paying for it. Do you understand? That's it. So all the money he spends that he normally would have to pay in taxes, he gets to write off 100% of that as a business expense. The same with the farmers. Do you understand? So you're paying to get cancer. And California touts itself as, leading the way, pioneering, the cutting edge of the green state. And there's a bunch of baloney sauce. So yeah, I was ticked off. But I shouldn't have gone off on the guy. I think I was probably intimidating and scared him. And he might tell his boss, and his boss might tell my boss, and I might lose the job. I don't know. And next time I see him, if I see him again, because apparently we're going on the same mornings, Tuesday mornings, and I will, this wasn't yesterday. It was the day before yesterday that this happened. But I will, if I see him again, I'll apologize. But I'll let him know, I take this stuff seriously. Yeah, cancer. Yeah, I take cancer seriously. Yeah, I take him damaging the plants I'm trying to take care of very seriously. Okay, and I don't appreciate him letting the weeds grow only right on that. What the hell's wrong? He's too good to get down on his hands and knees and pull a few weeds, for God's sake. Come on. I've been doing this work longer than I'm 40 years old. I've been doing this work for 40 years, rather. Okay, and this guy, he's probably in his 20s. I mean, but he's out there thinking he knows what's best. He's a hot shot. I mean, that's what so many of these guys mow and blow. They just want to just minimize the amount of time they're on a job, and they think it's just the way it is that you use Roundup if you're a landscaper worth his salt. And you know what it does? It really messes up the ground. If you look at ground where people just use over and over this crap, the ground looks